would say we were good together. I would say we had fun.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post fragrance related content on this platform. If you're here for the very first time, please consider subscribing and joining the family. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Also remember to hit the like and share button, guys, as those are very helpful in ensuring that our video gets a lot of traction. Welcome to a rating of my Maison Alhambra fragrances. I do not have a lot of the Maison Alhambra fragrances here, but if you follow my channel, you will know that I am a fan of the brand Maison Alhambra. I find that they make a lot of good fragrances. However, I did trim down my collection significantly to make room to some of the new releases that keep coming. And disclaimer, please don't take to heart these ratings. Fragrances are subjective. What I may like, you may not, and vice versa. And sitting on number 10, and 10 of course being my least favorite, is going to be Kismet for Women, a fragrance inspired by Killian's Good Girl Gone Bad, and that didn't save it. And I'm speaking for both fragrances, right? This fragrance does smell a lot like Good Girl Gone Bad. It has that apricot note, it has the florals in the mid, but this fragrance to me is a bit on the sour side, something I also get in the original, a sourish accord that I really don't care for, and it leaves me thinking, do I really need this fragrance? I did give it a couple of chances. I think you can see the level it's at, but the one I preferred the most was the Kismet for Men, the one that drew inspiration of that tuxedo. That one was well made, and I used my bottle until it was finished. So Kismet for Women definitely makes it on number 10, but not in a good way, because I do not like it that Next much. Up on number 9 is going to be Lux Street. If you follow Maison Alhambra, you will know that they dropped a series of these bottles drawing inspiration of the Bond number 9s, and I believe this one is a Lafayette Street clone. This to me just ends up being a fresh out of the shower apple scented scent, in as much as it has the vanilla and other notes working together with that apple. It doesn't do much for me. It kind of feels soapy, it feels shampooy. So if that is what Lafayette Street is doing, then So Lux Street, guys, takes number 9 position because it's not that memorable to my nose. Sitting on number 8, guys, is going to be a fragrance that I did bring here in full size, and then I opted for a decant to stay in my collection for reference sake, and that is Your Touch Ember. The reason why I put this one at number 8 and I no longer have it in full size is, to me, it's amber and vanilla done almost similar to what I get in Soie. Okay, Soie by Fragrance World. So because this fragrance reminds me so much of what I already have, and I prefer the Soie. I know this one draws inspiration of that Giorgio Armani, guys, the Giorgio Armani Stronger With You Intensely for Men. Okay, I know that, but I'm just saying, to me, the DNA is very similar to what I already have, though what I already have is not even an inspiration to that Stronger With You. So this I put at number 8 because I let go of the bottle, opted for the decant to reference in my future videos, but I don't care much for it to keep in full size. So at number 8, guys, is Your Touch Ember. The next one that makes it again on number 8 position is going to be Infini Elixir. Okay, Infini Elixir. And guys, if you know, I love Maison Alhambra. I find that in as much as they are a subsidiary of Lattafa, they are underrated. The only thing I do not like about them is, their tendency to copy bottles and stuff, which, yeah, the debate can be put on the table. Whether you copy the scent or you copy the bottle, who cares? But I find it uninspiring, especially if you are a reviewer, because I think we've caught on to the fact that there's a lot of fragrance companies that do clones. So I don't think these companies should be going for the bottles as well. It's just my sentiment, okay? So Infinity Elixir, guys, we had a giant bottle. The bottle looks like the side effects bottle by Initio, the color and everything, and the scent kind of feels that way as well. I do have a travel size of the Initio side effects, but this to me feels like an overdose of cinnamon. You know, if you take cinnamon and you just douse a lot of it in your recipe, then you add some nutmeg in the same recipe, and then maybe you put some honey, you put some sandalwood, there's supposed to be oud in here, and it ends up being a fragrance that's doing a lot but without saying much. So for that reason, I decluttered my full bottle and I remained with a little 15 ml decant for reference. So it is also at number 8 because on number 7th position is Luxe Journey, another one drawing inspiration of the Bond number 9s, but in this case the Nomad. Guys, one regret I have is decluttering my Luxe Blanc. I think that one was inspired by is it Tribeca? I can't remember. That was a gorgeous fragrance, and one of my friends convinced me to just let it go, and I let it go, and I still regret because when I did let it go, I thought I was just going to replace it easily, and my stockist never had that, hasn't had that since. So I was left with the Luxe Street, which I showed you as number 9 least favorite, and then this one, which I'm showing you as number 7 least favorite. I do not find this one as interesting as I hoped it would be, more so that it draws inspiration of that Nomad. I haven't put Nomad by Bond number 9 to my nose, but if this is what it's doing, thank you so much, Maison Alhambra, for giving us a little bit of a representation, because since I'm not able to get my Bond number 9s without trying them, rather by getting them in blind buy form, then I know for sure that I do not need to add anything that smells like this, even amplified better, but still smelling like this. Okay, so Luxe Journey is not a favorite. It sits on number 7 because it gives you a little bit of citrusness and aquaticness, that lychee. It's not a clash of notes, but it's not a statement piece, if you know what I mean. There is the florals, they're in the mid, peony, jasmine, lily, but they do not have that much hold on this fragrance enough to make a difference. So then this becomes a very polite fragrance, drying down with a little bit of a creaminess. They're coming off the praline, a bit of some musk. So no, this is on number 7. I do not care for it that much. Before I get into number 6 and the rest of the fragrances remaining here, a quick shout out to our products. As Macedon Perfumes, guys, we have 2 fragrances to our name. Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum 120 ml was our flagship fragrance. You can purchase it right here on YouTube by going on our store link or on our website macedonperfumes.com. We also have Numero 2, which is our second release, and it goes for $89. Full price for Proud Mary is $149. However, we do have a combo deal that gets you to save. So if you check out the store link on YouTube, or if you go on our website, you will be able to get both fragrances at a discount. Okay, so it's Proud Mary Extrait de Parfum and Numero 2, also of an extrait concentration. Remember to leave feedback, guys. I would love to know your thoughts on the 2 releases. Now, sitting on number 6, guys, is going to be Exclusive Saffron. Now, Exclusive Saffron is Maison Alhambra's take on Carolina Herrera's private line, and I think it's Saffron Lazuli. The saffron note is at the top in this fragrance, and then it gets into the black currant and some tonka. This has notes that intensify and intensify and intensify. I find it a little bit too much for me, and that is why I put it on the 6th position. But if you like your fragrances rich, because this also has the use of the leather, the saffron in itself is leathery in this, but it also has leather as a note listed separately. So if you like your fragrances very much on the leather side, woody side, and that tonka also leaning a little bit woody, more than what the rose and iris would do to the fragrance, because it does have the rose and iris in the mid, then you're probably gonna love that. Has the vanilla, but to me the the vanilla in here did not save it. The composition in itself tends to just rub me off the wrong way. So yeah, it is sitting, guys, at position number 6. Now, sitting at midpoint, guys, is going to be Oasis, and I don't know why this fragrance is not talked about. Maybe it's just one of those that got lost in the Maison Alhambra releases. Maison Alhambra has got this line inspired by Tiziana Terenzi. They have one called Karat. I think the Karat is a Kirke smell-alike, and then they have Anak, which is an Andromeda smell-alike, and this one is Oasis. I believe this one draws inspiration of Urza, and not Ursa, but Urza. Okay, there's a difference there. And I have been exploring the Tiziana Terenzi fragrances. I'm not sure if you can see some there. It is a house that I have added about 6 bottles, okay, in my collection, not to talk of decants, and I have stayed away from a DNA that smells anything remotely close to Kirke. And Kirke is one of the DNAs by Tiziana Terenzi that has a cult following, but I find it too sweet and sticky for me to drop the price on that one. The same feeling I have with this one, right? So this is not inspired by Kirke, but Urza in itself, I have seen a lot of votes on fragrance platforms saying it does share similarities with Kirke, and that is why I stayed away from that particular one. Now, talking about this one, I do get a sweetness that I get in Kirke in this. I do get that multiple layers of fruits in this, the wild berries, the caramel. It is a sweet fragrance. It's not bad. I put it in number 5 because it is really, really enjoyable, but it is a sticky situation in a bottle. However, when I'm in the mood for this, I really do wear this a lot. I really do. Like, I get to tell myself, okay, I need to slow down on this because I am really kind of pushing it, because I don't think I can find this one easily anymore. So yeah, it is sitting on number 5 as a favorite, because it is on 4th spot is going to be this fragrance. I bought this fragrance after I had bought the original Versace Crystal Noir, because I wanted to see to what extent this one is going to do what this one is doing. And truly speaking, this Jubilant Noir is at number 4, because this is what a clone is, okay, or a dupe or whichever, because whether you wore this or you wore that, I don't think people will be able to tell it apart. The Crystal Noir in itself is a fragrance that I've actually outgrown, but I continue to keep in my collection because I really did love this fragrance when I got it. It's a sweet, pretty, fun, fruity fragrance, you know, with nuances of a coconut and stuff, and I get that from this. So had it been that I hadn't bought this one first, maybe I would have just stopped at this, but I think this one obviously came after this. So it is what it is. Those are the ones sitting at 4th position. Then on number 3, guys, is a fragrance I put here because much as I love it, it didn't lure me in enough not to buy the real thing. I ended up buying Queen of Silk nonetheless. But I do appreciate Maison Alhambra's attempt at that DNA in this. It's just that this one is wild crazy. Like, you literally might not even be able to wash this off for a couple of days. On clothes, it's just mad crazy. Very powdery, something that I get in Queen of Silk, but in Queen of Silk it's kind of rounded than what this one is doing. It's very loud. Let's say, for instance, you wore this and you were in a situation where you had to think a lot, or perhaps a situation arises where you have to think a lot. You might find yourself having to take to change your clothing just because this one will be doing too much. So this is a fragrance for those who want to be seen. Avant Silk is a fragrance for those who like beast mode, and it does hold its own. It is a little bit mature though, so if you are young, maybe you need to test this because it does have that powdery, like powdery on steroids type of situation going on. And then sitting on number 2, I cannot fault this fragrance. I cannot fault this fragrance, guys. And when this one was released, I was so happy because I was in the midst of saving for Gris by Dior. And what I did instead is I ended up buying the entire gift set from Dior, because that gift set I think was $300, and this fragrance I blind bought, and when it came I was like, I think I could live with that. Although of course in terms of the scent profile I prefer the Ajmal one, the Evoke for her is also a Gridio smell alike, but this by Maison Alhambra is at number 2. They nailed it. It's also a powdery scent, but it's not screechy. It doesn't do too much like how the powder then ends up being here, and it holds its own and it's long lasting. The only reason why I prefer the Ajmal one is the Ajmal one is also a little bit more rounded there as opposed to this one, but this is a good long lasting scent. My dent speaks for itself. Drum roll. Now we are on number 1. The number 111, which is the utmost favorite, is going to be Athena. You guys know how I feel about this fragrance. This is a beautiful fragrance. I have Burberry Goddess in a travel size. Would not purchase Burberry Goddess in a full size unless I'm gifted, because of what Athena is doing. This is a gorgeous double dose of vanilla scent. It does have a bit of some lavender, but it's one fragrance that Maison Alhambra nailed. They didn't push anything over the limit. Everything is in moderation. And if you wore the real thing, which is Goddess on the side, and this one, it will be a stretch for people to tell them apart. And yes, I have since gotten a backup of this. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section when we discuss more about fragrances. Let me know which are your favorites from the house of Maison Alhambra, and then we can discuss further. I have brought you a couple of the new releases, but in decant form, because I'm just trying to curate my collection in a way that I keep what I absolutely need and I get to wear the fragrances that I have. That is the reason why I have just, you know, the few in full size and multiples in decant form there. Remember to turn on post notifications, that way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, guys, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.